experiences of oppression and discrimination that I experienced was when I moved for undergrad. I moved to the States, and for the first time, I was different. I was the only one that wasn't of Caucasian descent in my classes, and so there were times in which um, and in my heritage and my culture, we're not spoken. We don't speak unless we're spoken to, and so raising our hands or speaking out, um, or being the person who has all of the answers was not something that I was used to. And so in my classes, um, there would be often times where our instructors would expect us to participate or expect us to give answers or challenge them, and that just wasn't something that culturally I was very comfortable with. And so over time, my my professors and my students, if I did have something to say, they just kind of brushed me on the side. Um, and so in the beginning, while I might have felt voiceless, after a while, when I did find my voice, it wasn't a voice that I felt like they were willing to hear. And other instances would be simply like blatant. I think blatant discrimination is, I went to the store to pick up some supplies for my dorm room with my family, and I was standing in line at the cash register, and there was a family that was Caucasian that was in front of us and behind us. And so the customers in front of us, it was their turn, so they stepped forward, and then another register opened. But instead of taking myself and my family, the cashier pointed to the Caucasian family behind us and invited them to come to the register. That group of customers, that family finished, and instead of grabbing my family who were still waiting in line, the cashier grabbed the next Caucasian family that was behind us. And so that happened several times before we just put our stuff back and left. And I think for the first time, and for my family as well, having been born and raised in Hawaii and having not experienced things like that, it was something that was like, is this really happening to us? Are we just imagining this, or is it perhaps that we really are being discriminated against? Because discrimination wasn't something that we were very used to. And so we questioned whether or not we were imagining things, or whether or not it was just like discrimination. There are other instances in which I would go out with other colleagues or with other classmates who were Caucasian, and we would be sitting at at a counter, and they would give service over me. And if you're sitting at a counter, the server would always come to my Caucasian classmates and never come to me. And so those experiences, I think, early on, like when I first moved to the States and was out of my home culture. In the beginning, I didn't really know what it meant to be discriminated against, because I had never experienced that. I had always been part of a majority, but in Hawaii, everyone is a majority because we have so much diversity here. As I'm older, and I would like to say wiser, if I could tell my 20-year-old self that you're not imagining things, and this is definitely a time for you to stand up for yourself, then the things you wish you knew when you're younger.
I kind of get a lot of